I am full of Wendy's chili and nuggets right now. My insides are a burbling mess.
What kind of nuggets?
Spicy.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking.
No, if I'm going to Wendy's, I'm not... Please.
I
Non-spicy
like
nuggets are for Dino Nuggies only.
Yeah, I like the regular Wendy's nuggets more than the spicy, personally.
Really?
Only because if I'm going to Wendy's and I want spicy chicken, I'm going to get the number 6, the spicy chicken sandwich.
Okay, that's
which is the ultimate
fair.
chicken sandwich.
Do they make spicy Dino Nuggies?
I'm sure they probably do. If they didn't, they certainly do now, because that's now the meta.
Because now they've listened to this podcast and
in the chicken
"Whoa."
world, that's the meta.
Yeah, it's the meta in the chicken world.
Curtis, did you prey on these poor chicken nuggets as they were trying to get into the Mesidian Tower?
Well, I will tell you, my insides right now are violent enough to contain the Leviathan. It does feel that way. That's why the Leviathan eats you.
Because he's hungry?
Yeah, because he's hungry.
Yeah, the Leviathan only eats you if you've eaten really tasty food like Wendy's chili and spicy nuggets.
And chili is pretty good. After you go into the Leviathan's tummy, he just downs some like cherry cola and crackers. And that new like hot sauce that they have with the chili. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I don't think I've tried that.
Yeah, if you go to Wendy's and get chili now, they give you like a translucent Slimer goo that makes it spicy.
I hate this.
Well, you know what I hate? Final Fantasy II for the family. No, I'm just kidding. I also hate the Every FNFF podcast, bastards.
I do as well.
Of which I am one of the hosts, Curtis.
I am one of the other hosts, Carl.
I'm just here to watch, Alex.
And I actually don't hate this game or this podcast.
My understanding, Alex, is that since we last spoke to you, you've beaten like 2 Final Fantasy games beginning to end.
I mean, I cheesed my way through 1 and 4 since we last spoke, just to kind of review the Pixel Remaster, but also because I dumped the entire script for Final Fantasy II on our wiki, everyfnff.info, and just like, oh, wow, that was easy for the Pixel Remaster, so I'll just do it for the other ones we've already covered, because they are about the same length.
I like how we are officially like breaking into the internet niche of weird websites that just have the script, like Yinza, like shout outs to Yinza. That that website we use for the great artist. Or like this season I've been using Sabay, I think it's called, like the Sabay-web walkthrough FF2. It's like we are slowly doing that as well.
I found the like PSP script on like a GameFAQs. Like, of course, everything was in ASCII, and it's just a big text document.
What? Yeah, was it you that told me that FF13 has 7,777 lines of text? Or
I found that out the other day. It was like, oh, since it was so easy to extract the scripts for Pixel Remaster, because they are basically just like unencoded text files and then like a zip, because it's all built in Unity. It's pretty easy to access files, but I was like, oh, I'm curious what the lengths are between the games. So FF1 has 453 lines of dialogue. FF2...
That's why it's the best one.
has about double, which is 863. 3 has about 1,200. 4 has about 2,700. And then 3,600. Then Final Fantasy VI, so the Pixel Remaster, has about 4,300. And I was like, oh, I already have the Final Fantasy 13 script. Let me just dump that into a text document and see how many rows of dialogue there are. And it's 7,777.
All lucky sevens, baby.
I can't imagine. I wonder how many lines of dialogue like FF9 would have. Just like tens of thousands.
I'm wondering about 8 as
yellower
well.
than a banana is in there.
Do you think 8 or 9 has more dialogue in it?
I would say maybe 8, because there's a lot of that, like you can go backtracking after certain events happen and
9
see
does
different
too.
dialogue and stuff.
I'm so, yeah.
I'm 9 does that as well?
It does.
Shit, yeah.
I'm so torn between the two.
Yeah, I was worried about going back to 4 because like, oh man, there's gonna be like so many places to go back to. But the game is pretty linear, and like all the length mostly comes from like basically just really long cutscenes.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel like the length of 4 really shows itself when you learn the speed run, and then you're done with it in like 2.5 hours, and you're like, oh, that's really not that much to this game.
But diving into the scripts, I found some things we may have missed up to now in Final Fantasy II.
We've missed nothing. We've overturned every rock and discussed everything 100% accurately.
I'm excited to hear.
Okay, so when we access the secret corridor in the throne room, and I just played 4 or something. Castle Baron. No, Finn.
Oh, and Finn, yeah.
Did we mention the secret room that's in that corridor?
I don't remember what we talked about last time on this season, so I could
From
not
my
tell
recollection, I think we went straight from like, oh, the door's open to going into the sewers to go get the white mask. But once you go through that door, you go through a series of stairwells that kind of go into like, now you're on the second floor, now you're on the first floor, now you're in the basement. But when you hit the first floor, you can actually see the grass outside. And if you there's a way you can go outside of the map to reach a secret room in the
What?
Yeah, we definitely did not talk about that. I did not do that on the NES, but I'm looking at my screenshots. I am looking at my screenshots of Layla standing outside of Castle Finn, making her way to that secret room. That I think it's like an armory, right? Like they got like weapons and stuff.
Yeah, what was in there?
That was taken almost 3 months ago to the day is when I took that screenshot. So,
oh, wait a minute.
There is a bunch of weapons in there, but what I thought was very amusing is that there's just a guard just alone in this corridor who's just stationed like in a basically Casa Amontillado, just hanging around like he just, please help yourself to the equipment within.
The delicious wine will be making its way here any minute now. Once he's done doing whatever he's doing with these bricks, I will have that delicious wine.
All right, how do you get there? I'm there now.
So go through the corridor and wait until you're like at when you can see the grass outside.
Oh, I'm outside. Okay, I did it.
So
nice.
just hug the wall going south. And
what you
can
need to
tell
do, Curtis, is before you actually beat the cure the captain on the SSN, you need to have the surf HM and the badge to allow you to surf. So that way you can find a hidden truck that's just outside the SSN, and underneath that there is totally
the blood sword.
The blood sword.
Yeah. The little guy. It's actually funny that you say the one guy who's down there has been like Cask of Amontillado because his dialogue is, I don't want to die.
So that's the thing. What I think is extra funny is that his dialogue changes throughout the game, and so you have to come back and check on him as the plot progresses.
Okay.
So
in this room, you can find gold armor, a gold cuirass, gold light armor, and a gold shield. It's all gold,
Nice.
baby.
Seems like
Sorry,
that's
go ahead.
already been outclassed by what we've been finding in
by far.
other
Yeah.
caves, so that's a cool 500 gil for you, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So, Curtis, you're a little bit farther ahead where there's I think a dire situation that's threatening Finn, and that's why he's saying, I don't want to die. In the Pixel Remaster, he says, I don't want to die, mommy.
Mommy?
And then the next thing he says, he just says, mommy. But later, even after that, he just says, whew, am I ever tired?
Amen, brother. You and me both.
I think it's just funny, this guy who's almost not accessible to the rest of the castle is has dialogue changing throughout the game. So I go check on him throughout the
That's really impressive that they did that.
I understand that we're
They
recording
did
a
not
podcast.
change
and now's
the
not time.
dialogue of the dozens of rebels in Altair between one another, but they changed this guy's dialogue 3 times. That's sick.
So I realize that we are in fact recording a podcast right now, so it is not necessarily the time. But I have a lot of money, so I am just going to go to town and buy 2 more elixirs. So okay,
yeah,
now I will
idea.
save the game and get on with potting.
And one other thing that I thought was interesting, there's a lot of little things. I don't know if you guys took Gordon back to see Hilda right after we rescued him.
I don't think I did.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so is this when it's which iteration of Hilda is this that we're talking about? Is this
This is the real one.
Lamia Hilda?
This is before she gets kidnapped.
Oh, okay. When we get Gordon, but if we don't complete Kashan Keep and we go back to Altair instead.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's so confusing.
Because if we leave Kashan Keep with the Sunfire, yeah.
Yeah, you go in there and he's like, hey, I came here to right my wrongs of my past, but this place fucking sucks and I don't want to do it alone and I'm scared. Let me join you guys.
So there is a missable dialogue which you could get because Hilda isn't kidnapped until after we get the Sunfire.
That's right.
But if you go to Altair to like, hey, look who's here, and Hilda will just say, Gordon, you're too late. Had you come earlier, we would have had no need for the bell, and Joseph would still be alive.
Oh my god!
Damn,
And just fucking
dude.
drags his ass. Like, Hilda, you must listen to me. I was just trying to, like, I have no intention of listening to you, and like just fucking just shuts him down.
Oh my goodness!
It's rough.
Man,
Damn.
that sucks. I mean, not wrong. Man, Gordon is an extremely tragic figure in this. His brother fucking dies and he like left him and stuff, and he's like got all that guilt, and his brother's like, no, it's fine. Like he's got to believe in himself. And then he finally starts to come into that, and then Hilda's like, you fucking asshole. Joseph's dead because of you.
Yeah, I thought that was
like,
really rough.
Take
And I was
this
like,
ring
wow.
and then marry my girlfriend, please.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting that was in there. I noticed that when I was parsing out the script. I'm like, oh, wow.
Wow, that's
pretty
extremely
incredible.
dark. That's nuts.
Very easy to miss considering the
Yeah, that's
sequence.
almost like
very
a-
tiny window.
Yeah, that's not like a sequence break, but it has like the feeling of a sequence break. Like, why would you go back to Altair?
Well, you know what's the opposite of something dark and mean and miserable like that would be
The dark
something
mask.
tropical, baby, because we just finished the tropical island, and that's
Yes.
where we are currently.
We just came from
the tropical island, where I didn't get that special shop in town that you all found.
Mhm.
Remember? Remember that
I
one?
bought a bunch of shit from there and realized that all of the stuff that I have is
Mm.
already well outclassing it, so I just wasted money. But the good
Oh my
news
God,
is I have a ton of money, so it doesn't matter. I have a ton of money and diminishing inventory slots, so I have to sell shit more and more.
Can I actually say that one of the very first things I did this last play was I nicely organized my items. All
Isn't that
the
a good
usables
feeling?
up top, all the equipment's down bottom,
Oh, yeah.
and like made some room. Feels so good. Got so much money from selling stuff.
I do
Also,
that. I do that somewhat regularly. Once it get like when I finish a dungeon or something and it's just out of control, I do that, and I always just imagine I'm playing Resident Evil 4, doing like the inventory, but it's like spinning the
That's right, yeah.
bazooka so that it fits nicely. And
in Resident Evil 4. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I love that there is just a game that is that called Save Room, and it's just a puzzle game based on the
Yeah,
Resident Evil 4.
yeah.
oh, that's really fun. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Curtis?
Oh, I was going to say that
Chris wasn't saying anything. Let's keep talking about Resident Evil 4.
at this point in the game, okay, so I know that, like, my opinion of Final Fantasy 2 goes up and down depending on like what day it is, what phase of the moon it is, how I'm feeling, if I've had breakfast or not. But I'm loving Final Fantasy 2 right now because the equipment that we start getting kicks ass, like comparatively. Because I feel like in every other Final Fantasy game, your equipment pretty much keeps up with where you are. And I feel like there are some places in FF2 where it's like, oh man, this is hard. I'm not doing any damage to bosses. I have to rely on magic to get through. Like, shit's rough. But like the weapons that we're getting here and in the next couple of areas kick so much ass. Like, I'll like have a sword that has like 40 attack, and up to this point I'm like, 40 attack, baby, that's sick as hell. And then you'll find like the ice sword and it just has like 85, and I'm like, what? That's so much. Like,
That's interesting. I'm excited to talk about it when we get to that, because I just skipped all that loot.
oh, that loot's so good. The thing about the elemental loot, oh, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
It's very good for that dungeon. But
have the black mask.
in terms of where we are currently, before we get too ahead, we did get the black mask. We did come here, and we are.
Did you guys apply, or I guess put the white mask on the statue?
We talked about it a little last time, but I hadn't yet. So I did go do that once I got both masks.
Yeah, I think at that point I hadn't actually done it on NES when we last spoke. I've obviously done it now, and I was like, oh, we just talked about this. I need inventory space because these items eat up an inventory slot, and I need to get like 2 other items to get to the next dungeon. I'm gonna stop off in Mysidia. I'm gonna put the mask there and go off. And I did that, and then I realized that it still stays in your inventory even when you put the mask on the statue.
It does. It does. It wastes an inventory slot forever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you can't get rid of them. I did try to sell my key items. Finally, I was like, I don't need these. And it was like, oh, you can't get rid of that. And I was like, no,
please, I
don't need it.
I need you to take this pass to this ship that I destroyed that has no use whatsoever.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth a lot in a few years.
Yeah, the collector's market is
That's right.
really going nuts over it.
Yeah, so we can go there, put the white mask on the statue, which will allow.
I think this is what I got confused about. Is like, why didn't it do anything? I think because it doesn't tell you that what it does is stop the doppelganger from moving.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because you mentioned, like, Carl, that you encountered the doppelganger and they says, "Get out of my way."
Yeah. It just kind of repeats what you say. Yeah.
It didn't. Does he move like with you, or does he just stand there and talk back to you?
I think he just stands there and talks back to you. But when I got to him in the NES one, it says like the doppelganger stands still, and I was just like, oh, that's a weird difference between versions or something. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a 2-step process, but it doesn't really make it clear that, like, I think if you came across a doppelganger first and was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then put the mask on, like, it basically freezes it and, or basically just kind of takes away its, like.
Yeah,
putting
the white mask on the. Yeah, essentially. Putting the white mask on the goddess statue, like, drains its sentience or ability to, like, speak back. And then putting the black mask on the actual doppelganger in the cave gets rid of it, right?
Yeah.
By the way, what we're talking about, after we leave Mysidia, Mysidia is, like, next to a mountain range, right? Mm-hmm. And
there's, like, 2 croissant-shaped mountain ranges.
Yeah.
That are concentric with each other, like the... God, what is that logo? It's a C inside of another C facing each other.
Oh, there you go. Sure. But we need to like sail around the continent and then get into that mountain range because there is a cave there. And in the cave is the Pearl Rod, which allows you to get access into...
the Crystal Rod, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Pearl Rod is an item from FF6. The Crystal Rod, which allows you to gain access to the Mysidian Tower, which makes me wonder, is Minwu just like standing at the door of Mysidian Tower? Did he get in yet? Because I'm assuming he did not get the Crystal Rod.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Like, how did he get in?
I can't remember.
I guess he's just Minwu, I guess.
I can't remember if... getting into like if there's a way to get in there and look at him. I think you might like be able to walk up there, but it's gated off. But I might also be thinking of like Finn before we sacked it.
Yeah. Once if we go to the tower now, there is just a door immediately in the entrance, and you can't get by it.
Okay,
so you
cool.
can't even enter.
So yeah, Minwu probably found his way.
What's Minwu doing?
He locked himself. He locked the door behind him.
How did he get in?
Yeah, I'm not sure how.
Just like Gordon before, he just locked himself in.
I don't know. There's reason to be skeptical that he had a crystal rod, which is required to get in.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll talk about it. They hand these things out.
Oh yeah, it's not as mystical as
So basically we can enter the Mysidian cave.
Hilda, if you go back to Altair, Hilda will just say, a crystal rod. That rod will allow you to enter the Mysidian Tower. So she's like the hint if you like don't know what to do.
But yeah, we can get into
looking at my script.
We get to the Mysidian cave and start to spelunk around there looking for the crystal rod, right? And there are some like interesting enemies. The Marlboro shows up.
Yeah, which is extremely scary.
Oh, yeah.
There's a scarier enemy, which I can't remember if it shows up here or in like the next couple of areas, but it's the devil weed or something it's called. And
I hate that one. Yeah.
That one will confuse you if it attacks you, kind of like what I think of as a Marlboro in later games. Like the one in this one, they're kind of annoying. They attack you and they paralyze you.
Is it the death flower? I think,
yeah, the death flower, and then like the devil flower or something as like the more powerful
flower.
one. Yeah.
Hang out gigantoads.
Yeah, like the Gigantoad I want to talk about real quick because I've been kind of just, when I know I can win a fight, I just have Maria cast Toad a bunch to try and level it up. So just seeing Gigantoad and casting Toad on it and turning it into a little Toad and having it hop away made me laugh quite a bit.
Death
really Flower looks like a proto Ochu.
Yeah, very Ochu.
I think it's funny that the Marlboro exists in this game, but there's a different enemy that does the things that we associate with the Marlboro now.
Yeah.
It's like they got like consolidated into one creature.
They're like, wow, this thing looks so much cooler than that other like plant enemy that was way worse. Let's just make this the OP one. But yeah, not too bad for our level at this point, or at least it wasn't for me in my playthrough.
No, I thought this was pretty... The only bad thing about this one, I did have to leave and come back twice because enemies in this cave do cause stone with their normal attacks, and the enemies walking up to the cave cause stone with their normal attacks. I think you can also get the zombie or the curse status here as well.
Yeah.
So I did have to leave a couple times to like better set up my items, like get some like gold needles and stuff like that, because my Asuna is just not high enough to handle it.
Yeah, this is for me. This is like a cakewalk because I just spent several hours just getting Asuna up to par because I was like like leading towards this because I'm like, I know there's gonna be enemies using stone. I'm not gonna be carrying around a bunch of gold needles, and there were still some instances where I needed to use a gold needle to like cure Maria. Like I always have one. I always keep that MF thing on me just in case
your Asuna caster gets hit by the stone.
But between Asuna and Osmos, these next couple areas have been pretty easy, but I will talk a little later about one of them where it still got really dicey by the very end of it, where I was like refusing to leave and come back, which would have been fine, but I was just like, I have made it up 9 floors. I'm not doing that now.
Yo, and also, you're not kidding about Osmos. That spell rules.
That shit is so good. Oh, this also
when you multi-target. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like I just jump up 100 MP when I multi-target. Sometimes
it's so
like,
nice.
Hell yeah.
It's so nice.
I think there is a correction from Zwanzig from our last episode about the blood sword, where I talked about it and I said it's 1/16 of the HP.
Yes.
What I didn't realize about it was that I was underselling it, even though that's still incredibly impressive because it's 1/16 every hit. So like for right now, Furion is doing like 8 hits usually because of his proficiency. So that's like
50% of the enemy's health in one swing.
I think it does cap, if I'm not mistaken, at quad 9. But if you're dealing quad 9 on something, like you pretty much, it's not FF10. You don't like that's a very, very big number in this game.
Yeah. It is pretty sick. It's a good ass weapon.
I have the blood sword in Furion's back pocket in case things get real dicey. I'm like, I'm not gonna use this unless I fucking need it, but I'm gonna play it straight up as much as I can, straight up, quote unquote, with like the Asuna and Osmos strats that I have.
Yeah, technically I haven't used it on like a boss or anything yet, but I am not above it. But yeah, so the cave, right? What is it? Were there any good items in here? I don't really remember there being.
Yeah, there was like an ice bow. I think there's some decent stuff in here. I should probably pull up the whole list.
There's an Osmos and Drain tome in here.
Oh yeah, that's the big one. I think
Mini and Drain as well.
Yeah, if you haven't had Osmos yet, like I got the lucky drop from a magician, but yeah, you want Osmos. Even level 1, it's the spell to get in this game.
My Drain spell is level 7 now, and let me tell you, it fucking kicks ass.
Fuck yeah.
It's so good. Like, you don't get elemental benefits, right? Like, casting ice on a thing that's weak to ice is still essentially going to be stronger. But Drain uses the same formula as, like, Thunder and Blizzard and all that stuff. So it's just as strong, and nothing in the game is resistant to it, with the exception of, like, undead enemies, right?
Right, yeah.
So you can just use it constantly and keep Maria's HP topped off all the time, which in the back row isn't really that big of a deal anyway. But it does make her essentially invincible if an enemy cannot one-shot her. So she can just, like, if everybody else around her dies, but she can survive, like, a hit, she's basically unkillable because you just, like, drain, Osmos. Drain, Osmos.
One thing I do want to say about Final Fantasy II and its magic system, which I could speak on it for hours and have, I guess, technically, but I feel like it has the most OP magic in the entire series, but the problem is you have to fucking earn how OP it is.
You do.
So it's like just getting trained to level 7 is like on par with getting a Celestian weapon in like Final Fantasy X or something. Yeah. It's like it takes so much time and effort into it, so it's really cool to have that. It's not like a trivial thing to be extremely overpowered, and you can still get into like really bad situations while being overpowered. But if it's like fully worth it, like I don't know. Like,
well, I will say at this point in the game, like battles are like kind of not tough, but a lot of times they take more than one turn, and there's that battle level thing we were talking about where like if they're above you in battle level, you get additional points to your magic and skills. So like I haven't had too bad of a time leveling up Drain, but I doubt it'll get past like level 9 for the duration of the game because it does take a while.
Yeah, I'm excited. We can actually talk about it a little bit later as well about the magic that we're going to get and how that works and how
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about that a little more because that very much goes into like the leveling up of it and worth it versus not worth it.
Speaking of magic as well, in this cave specifically, there are lots of different like flan type enemies. Like the yellow jellies and red moose and
oh, you mean the MP restoring enemies where you just use osmos and then you're back and topped off.
They also the yellow and red souls that we fought as bosses before make returns as normal enemies here. But again, like you either can cast a spell that's super effective against them and get the elemental bonus, or just drain bypasses it all and you can kill them straight up with drain. So I usually found like 2 or 3 casts of that on a whole party because I would get like parties of 8 all the time in here, but like 3 drain spells would pretty much take care of the whole thing.
Yeah. One really what was I going to say? Sorry, I just got confused.
Oh no, you got confused, DD.
Oh no.
do you have Basuna?
That shitty plant. No one has Basuna. Fuck that spell.
No one uses Basuna.
There is the Ogre Killer, which is a cool axe we can find.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great axe.
I already had one, and Guy already had it. Too. And I was just like, okay, fucking Guy is power stancing in Dark Souls 2. Now he's just going to be holding 2 Ogre Killers because I'm not letting this live in my inventory. And maybe I'll sell it and just go back to one-handing. But
I will say, I don't know. Obviously, I haven't played it through multiple times just to see the difference or whatever. But I have equipped all my front rowers with shields now and have been getting their evasion up, and that really is an overpowered stat in this game.
Yeah, I should do that.
It's so good. Like attacks miss more than not now. like most of the time it's a miss.
That's so good.
And even when they do hit, it's like enemies who hit like 8 times will hit like twice.
Yeah, because I'm noticing that Guy, he's like my tank character. He's got like 4,000 HP or something on the NES version, and it's like well above anyone else's. And he is pretty much just like the only reason that Maria is leveling up Cure, because like he's always being targeted and he always takes so much damage, and it takes so much to heal him back up. So I'm at like, I think I just hit Cure like 13 or something.
Oh my god.
Maria. Yeah, it's nuts.
I just hit 8 and I'm like, oh, I have so much Cure.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's weird. I think what I was gonna say was that I don't really have any experience with trying to level up like early magic with like higher enemies necessarily. I mean, I guess Toad, and I've noticed that kind of leveling up pretty fast, but again, it's just like at this point in the game I'm like, I don't want to be starting from 0 on anything.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with a character that we're gonna meet soon, where I was like, oh, I have this weapon that I can give to this character, and then I was like, oh no, it doesn't make sense because his proficiency is weirdly counterintuitive to what I would think as a fan of Final Fantasy.
I like a flame lance that we find in this cave.
Oh yeah, the flame lance. Yeah, I think I saw that and I was like, I know who that's going to, and then it's like, nope.
The other thing that we find in this cave is the crystal
garb.
rod. Or a what?
The black garb.
Oh, we do find the black garb actually, which might be the best armor for the a black mage.
No, I think you're confusing that with the black robe. The black garb, I think, is it raises your evasion. So if you're going for like a thief sort of thing, yeah.
I see.
We will find the black robe and the white robe soon, and I can speak on that more because I looked into the usage of that. But yeah, black garb raises plus 10 agility. So if you need to get the edge and do some fleeing or something, that might be helpful.
I see.
I do like that all of the equipment has different benefits or drawbacks now as well, where it's not just like, oh, number go up in defense, so I'll equip this. It's like there's multi-layers to each thing that we can get, and makes strategizing a little more interesting.
Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, exactly. The part of Final Fantasy 13 I did nothing with. I was just like, this upgrade
defense,
system is
offense,
too
magic, physical.
Well, at the end of this dungeon, we do find the crystal rod.
Is it guarded by anything? I don't remember.
I'm looking right now.
No, it's just in a room of like 3 other treasures.
Yeah,
and just
it's just like I wasn't sure that I was at the end of the dungeon yet when I found it. I think.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's just here.
What's the lore significance of it being so easy to get? I mean, we had to go through 2 other dungeons to get it just in a chest.
Yeah.
Why is it not guarded by a boss?
Or is it?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's not. I mean...
Yeah, there's an Osmose and Drain tome next to it, and you just grab them and go.
Yeah. Next stop is, the
Mysidian Tower.
The Mysidian Tower, or as the guide told me to do, go back to Altair and heal up. Like, go to the inn at Altair because it's right there, and then make your way to the Mysidian Tower. And I was like, I got a cottage, I can just go. And I went in and completely forgot that there's...
No, Carl, no!
Yeah, I completely forgot that there's a whole cutscene, and you just are immediately thrown into another thing. And luckily, I had just saved right before, so I just did a reset, but I was just like, ugh.
Oh, okay,
because,
good.
as we start going into making our way to the Mysidian Tower, which is a place that we could have gone to before.
Yeah, to sail to the Mysidian Tower, you essentially have to like go through a what do you call it? A pass?
Yeah.
What's the name of that? Like a water.
I don't know. I call it a pass or like an inlet or channel of sort.
Yeah.
Because it basically is like another just croissant-shaped island mountain range around where the tower is. So you have to kind of go into a very specific part.
And you have to sail into it specifically. It's not like you. Yeah, there's no land on it, but. Sorry, Carl, go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. I was trying to find that image that was like a poster that's on classroom
I know
walls
the one you're talking about. I was thinking about mentioning it.
And the fjord and shit. And I'm just like, I need to know if this is a fjord or if this is a reverse peninsula or whatever the fuck this. I need to know the exact.
Is it a strait?
Is it a strait or a...
Like STRAIT?
I was thinking like channel. Anyway, I don't know. There's like a mountain range in the shape of a croissant.
As I've been saying,
also,
it does seem like a pass.
all right there, Mr. Croissant. Dan.
It's the water atrium.
La di da, Mr. Frenchman.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, we sail in there, and then on the Pixel Remaster, we see a giant whirlpool kind of start and like suck us in.
A whirlpool that looks really good. Like,
yeah, it
on
looks
the Pixel
awesome.
Remaster, it's like
it's real cool.
It's 3D.
Yeah, it's nice looking.
Yeah, this is I think the first time I saw like a 3D asset. I think in the Pixel Remaster, it like threw me for a loop. I'm like, whoa.
It's like 3D, but it maintains the it not only maintains the resolution, but it maintains like it doesn't look like 2D combined with 3D. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like it looks
2.5
appropriate in the context of the world. It's really
It looks
nice.
like if the SNES was strong enough, it could warp a texture into this shape.
Yeah, like the whirlpools in what's it called? Link to the Past or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the NES version, there's just a bunch of like tidal waves that come from like the right side of the screen over to the ship, and it kind of flashes white and everything. And then we are inside of Lord Jabu Jabu's belly.
Yeah. We've once again another FF4 thing, because FF4 is just this game again.
Yeah.
The Leviathan has swallowed us whole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, we didn't get swallowed by the Leviathan. Rydia.
Rydia got swallowed by the Leviathan.
True. Yeah. What if Rydia was in here? They should have did that in the Pixel Remaster. Made a little sprite that looked like Rydia. That would have been great.
But in this case, it is not taking us to the Land of Summons to train us to be an incredible summoner.
What was the name of the Land of Summons in that game again?
Land of Summons.
It is Land of Summons.
Oh, I thought it was like Mysidia or something. Well, I guess Mist was the city.
No, that's something else. That's FF3. Never mind.
Wasn't there a Mysidia in Final Fantasy IV, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, that's the town at the very beginning of the game that Cecil steals the crystal from.
Right. History's greatest monster, Cecil.
And they freaking hate our guts when we get there and turns to a frog and pigs and shit and try to poison us and
oh
stuff.
My
Yeah,
god!
right, yeah.
God, Final Fantasy IV is fucking treasure, dude. That game was so fun.
Yeah. Next season, we're just going to do Final Fantasy IV again.
Every time there's a new version out, yeah.
Yeah, in the Pixel Remaster, though, we do get a little bit of dialogue where it's like just, oh, where are we? Oh, no, Layla's missing. So Layla is no longer in our party. I think we might also get some dialogue in the NES one. I just didn't take a screenshot of it.
You do.
I think they were just
Furion
also saying, like, Layla is missing.
It's just, where are we? Where's Layla?
Yeah. Do you like the texture of the floor of the Leviathan in the NES version, Curtis?
Yes, I do.
I like it a lot because it looks like we're standing on gigantic Bush's baked beans.
Oh, it does. Oh,
We're thinking
I'm
about
looking at it right
those
now.
beans. Yeah, it's
It
really
does
good.
look like we're standing on a bunch of beans.
Sponsor us, Bush.
And the walls are intestines, and I love that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I noticed the map itself looks like a digestive tract. Like we wake up in the colon.
Yeah. Weird place to get swallowed, and you're already in the colon, and you have to make your way back to the mouth.
It's actually, and like the last room looks like a mouth, like you're in a head with a bunch of teeth sticking up out of the floor.
It's the backwards. Yeah,
oh, you know what's
weird?
The first thing that I did in the Pixel remake was open up my map here to see where the fuck I was. And it just shows you like in the legend of like all the different towns that you can like select and see where they are. It just says Leviathan straight up, and I was just like,
okay.
that's really cool. I didn't think to open up the map on NES, but it would probably just show the location is like right outside Mysidia Tower.
Can you open the map indoors in the NES?
The world map?
That's a good question. I don't think you can.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I haven't tried.
But the first room, I mean, the entire place is linear. They're like, unlike any other dungeon that we've been to, it is just straight to the end in Leviathan.
I almost don't really count it as a dungeon because it's just like...
It's like 3 rooms.
It's like a 1-room dungeon and like another room that's just
Lure
like
room.
living quarters.
Yeah, the dorm. We got to talk to the RA.
Speaking of which, right, after we go through like the intestine room, we get to like a town.
Yeah, but before that, there is some loot here, and I highly recommend this one item that we get, the twist headband.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Might not be the best like defense that you can get versus, you know, like a golden helmet or gold hairpin or whatever. But I immediately put that on Maria because that raises your defenses against mind type damage, like confusion or like stone or a number of status ailments that I never want to get again. So I'm like, how do I get 4 of these? Because these status ailments fucking suck.
That they do. I believe this is the first game it appears in. No, actually, it is in number 1 as well. Never mind.
I also have a screenshot of the stats, and it compared to the gold hairpin, the twist headband adds like 5 attack and I think and 1 defense versus the gold hairpin. So this is just a straight across the board upgrade.
Actually, wait a minute. I take it back. The original Final Fantasy did not have the twist headband, but the GBA remaster did have it. So this is the first instance of the twist headband in the Final Fantasy series. And Curtis is rewriting
history live on the pod.
Which comes back in almost every game.
Yeah, another thing we can get here is like the power armor, which is a similar thing. Like
from Fallout 3.
Yes. So I put that on Furion instead of like Diamond, where his defense was at 55, and it plummeted his defense to 37, but it also adds plus 10 to your attack stat. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to keep that on him.
Yeah, it does.
It's the barbarian armor from Zelda.
Hell yes.
Glass cannon.
This little mini dungeon also does my favorite thing that Final Fantasy 1 did, where there's tiles that just deal damage to you, and it's like each time you walk, it's 1 damage to each of your 1 hit point to each.
Tummy acid.
Yeah. But the good thing about that is you do not get into encounters when you're in that. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna walk around in this sludge all day, dude.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And the second you step onto land, it's like immediate encounter.
It's like the worst encounter you could get.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's boltfish, manta rays, red souls, sea dragons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just the upgraded color palette of the fish enemies that we fought out in the ocean.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. These enemies, like, put a little mental pin in these enemies. They're all like sea type enemies, right?
Yeah.
Like ones that you might experience on the ocean, but you haven't seen on the ocean. This is the first time we've seen them. So put a little mental pin in those for now. We'll be back. Back to those enemies. So like it's in the second room or the second area of the Leviathan.
You go through like a weird valve, like it's gross. Like, it almost looks like a larynx or some shit like that.
Yeah,
my larynx. Yeah.
The door opens up like a little
sphincter.
It's like something from Scorn.
Okay,
yeah. It's a Scorn door.
But there's actually like a town inside of Leviathan. Like people have been swallowed like through the years and have just made a town inside. Which like luckily Leviathan swallowed a bunch of beds and bookshelves full of books with them. So like at least they have something to do, I suppose.
Yeah, luckily Leviathan also swallowed an entire walkable city, so all of the people's needs are met within walking distance. So they have it better in here than we do in the good old US of A.
I wonder what Corey's opinion is on
Yeah, we need to have Corey do a deep dive on the the way that it's laid out.
City planning inside Leviathan. Yeah. But there's just an NPC that says, "We're inside Leviathan's stomach."
Yep.
Leviathan swallow us all. But there's a fella
who's blocking our way.
Yeah, just blocking it.
Looking real cool.
Another doppelganger.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet the very first Dragoon in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow. How about that? And his name is, what is his name? Richard. Thank you. Whew. Rickard.
Drew.
It's Ricard.
It's Ricard.
His name's Andrew Goon, but they call him Drew. He's Drew Goon.
Dragoon. All right.
But yeah, we meet Ricard.
But we said Ricard because it sounds like Picard.
Yeah.
Ricard.
But
I think Ricard's also the name of a character in Berserk. Oh no, that's Rickard. Okay, so every time I see Ricard, I'm like, oh, that's probably a Berserk reference, like most things in games like this.
But he doesn't really seem that interested in talking to us, to be honest. And like,
yeah, you can ask him a lot of things. He doesn't really.
You can ask him a lot of things, and some things he doesn't care about. But
it's interesting because like I forgot what to do here, and I think each time I encountered him, I just like, well, at the top of the list, ask him about this, ask him about that, ask him about that. And he's just kind of like, oh, like, how do you know about that or something? Just
I love when you ask him about the Ultima Tome, he says, how do you know about that? And I love it.
I was like, where do you hear about that? Yeah, like it's just
yeah, like if you talk about the Dragoons and the Wyverns,
the Wyverns,
you'll tell him that like, hey, shit's bad, like they're gone. And he says, what? The Dragoons and Wyverns have been destroyed? That's absurd.
Yep.
Yeah, Wyverns. What about them? What's with you people?
Right. But he'll finally like change his tune when you mention.
Real quick, I asked him about Mysidia in the NES version, and he just says, "I've been to Mysidia."
Yeah.
He's like Johnny Tightlips from Simpsons. It's just like I ain't saying nothing.
Tell him to suck on a lemon.
Hey, what do you know about Mysidia? I've been to Mysidia.
Been to Mysidia? Never heard of it.
But I think it's funny is that you mentioned the crystal rod. You'll change his tune.
Importantly, you don't mention the crystal rod.
You show it to him.
You have to go to your items and pick it out of your items. Because I was like, I asked him everything. What the fuck does the game want me to do? And you have to show him the crystal rod. Which, like, I don't know that that's the most intuitive thing to do, but
no,
yeah, it's funny because we'll find out very soon that there are multiple people with this crystal rod.
Indeed.
Notably, pretty much everyone in here is in here because explicitly the crystal rod, like the whole reason the Leviathan exists is to eat people who have a crystal rod and try getting into the Mysidian Tower. The Leviathan.
Oh, it's a crystal fishing rod for catching Leviathan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. So he sees that we have the rod. He finds out that we're going for Ultima. So he says, all right, let me join you. So he joins our party. And yeah, just after that, we ask people in the town. They say, he says there's a boat up ahead, but there's a tough monster standing in our way. So he joins our party. Yeah. And so there are people in this little town that are like, yeah, we got swallowed by Leviathan because this old man in the corner has a crystal rod, and that's why Leviathan swallowed us.
This fucking asshole had his crystal rod, and that's why we got swallowed up.
And that old man is like, I regret nothing. I ain't never letting go of this crystal rod.
Yeah, it's like the Leviathan's going to swallow him, and he's just like Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog. What's your offer? Just getting eaten.
His hat. It's like, no one's taking my hat. One royal soldier kind of looking guy is like, 10 years I've been living here. There's no way out. I'm sure of it. The sooner you give up and accept it, the easier it'll be for you.
We're here for a total of 3 minutes and immediately escaped.
Yeah.
This guy's like, well, I've reserved myself.
Has anyone tried? No one's made it out.
We've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
I'll look up something real quick.
Another was like, look, I've got a crystal rod right here. Like,
I like that there's like a bunch of beds in here, but I don't think we can use it as an inn.
Oh, you cannot.
No.
Yeah.
Interestingly, can't sleep here. It's too stinky.
But
yeah, there's not really much else.
Right when Leviathan opens its mouth, there's a second where we could escape, but there's just too many monsters.
Damn, you hate to hear that.
Is that what someone says?
Oh, yeah. Just the lady near the not inn.
It's funny that there's just like a big pool of, I think because we're in the stomach, because there's like a big, large room that just is full of like acid on the floor.
right.
Everyone's just milling around with like tables and shit.
Yeah.
It's so weird and so gross.
It's so good. This is so cute. I love it.
But what's extra weird is that there's just a ship. Is it our ship just like stuck in the teeth of
I
the
don't know.
Leviathan?
It's when it's here, it's green for some reason. They're like when we go into the next room and we're in Leviathan's mouth, which is awesome, by the way. It's like full of teeth, and we have to like walk around the rows of teeth to get where we're going. There is just what looks like Layla's ship, but green. So like, is it green because it's dark in here? Is that a different ship? Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows where our ship went?
Who knows where Layla is? R.I.P.
It's true.
R.I.P. to a real one.
Maybe she ditched us.
Yeah, she's just like,
threw us
She's like,
overboard.
these guys fucking suck.
But there are some. There's 2 items in here that we can grab. There's the diamond shield and the Gaia blade.
Yeah.
So, which like
Gaia
the
blade,
Gaia
which
blade,
I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
So Ricard, I was like, I have all these these weapons I associate with dragoons from future Final Fantasies, like lance items or staffs or whatever. Like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, they use spears. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, they use spears. That's their whole thing. That's what makes a dragoon a dragoon. No, his proficiency is level 8 on a sword and 0 of everything else. So I was like,
Yep.
And he's got like a wing sword, which I think is one that we could have already found in other dungeons that deal more damage to flight enemies, I believe, like birds and stuff. Yeah. And I went to equip him with like the Gaia blade or one of Furion's old weapons that I had and stuff. And it was like, no, the best item for him right now is just the one that he has already. So I'll just keep it with that.
Yep. The Gaia blade,
the blood sword.
if you're not specifically using the blood sword and you have Furion's like best weapon at this point, the Gaia blade can be an upgrade for him, and it will be immediately overshadowed in like fucking 5 minutes. Like
exactly.
With the Gaia blade, and then get the first blade in the next area, and it's like 30 more attacks. So fuck that shit.
I really love the difference of this section between, I'm looking at my screenshots like left and right, and just the full detail of the pixel remaster of like this room that we're in, with the boss enemy in front of us and the ship that we can see. And then
the ship is like full scale.
It's like full scale. It looks really cool. It looks like we can walk onto the ship and like explore it and stuff. There's really great like teeth sticking out and everything. And then on the NES one, it's just like there's still the teeth, which are like very cute, and just at the edge of it there's just like each of them are one tile. It's the worm. It's just one tile, and then next to it is a green ship, which is also one tile.
Looks like a toy boat.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the monster who's protecting the ship is a worm, right?
Yeah, the round worm.
The round worm, which I think is pretty good because it's like a round worm is a parasite that infests another animal or whatever. I was like, very nice, well done. But yeah, it is the boss of the area, and it's not a pushover, I would say. I beat it first try. It doesn't have like too much up its sleeve, but it hits pretty hard. So like, you could die here. You could die here if you're not watching out. If you like don't cure,
you definitely want to
be
careful.
Yeah, so it's it doesn't have too much going on, but it can wreck you if you're not careful, if you don't have the right equipment. Do y'all have anything interesting to say about it, like that it does or anything?
Not really. I didn't really have too much of a problem with it, especially now that we have, a party of 4 again. Getting up here was a little tricky where we were down to 3 party members, but
yeah.
It's definitely like a harder enemy. Like if there was multiple enemies in this fight, it would be something to be really concerned with, but I think just we can outclass them pretty easily, especially like I have Maria can use Cure if she needs to and everything, so.
I did have to cast Life, I think, twice during this fight because it can just do so much damage at once. But I think it only has like physical attacks that attack single characters. So if Life is sticking, then you really don't have anything to worry about, I don't think.
Yeah.
But Life doesn't always stick, so there's that.
Really wish we had Shooting Star to launch this fucko.
Oh
my god, yeah.
That would be delightful, I agree. But yeah, so we beat that, and we are allowed outside of the Leviathan pretty much immediately.
It's like so.
I'm assuming everyone else escaped too.
Nah, fuck those people.
Yeah, the one old man who gave up is still living there because he's like, it's a living.
I can see this being a big like scam between the Leviathan and the people. Like, oh, like they could easily charge people like passage if it was just that easy to get on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never personally fought a giant worm. Maybe it's harder than it looks.
Yeah. I mean, even beyond that, it's not just the giant worm. There is a whole bunch of monsters that are like harder enemies than we've seen on the surface.
I don't
Throughout
know that I could beat up a real life.
I don't think I could walk through the stomach acid or whatever that's dealing damage to me to get to the worm.
I don't think I could beat up like a catfish, much less like a boltfish. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Leviathan's doing the world a favor by eating those stronger monsters, so they aren't just wandering around.
Yeah, indeed. And
luckily, we blew the Leviathan. We blew it open, and now those monsters are everywhere.
I guess presumably Leviathan's fine, right? We never fought it, or like
we
any
didn't fight
damage
it.
to
We
it.
just kind of were spit out.
We kind of we maybe disturbed its microbiome a little bit, like the creatures that live
we gave him a
inside of
tummy
it.
ache.
Yeah, so it's probably got like maybe some diarrhea right now, or it's just not feeling very good. So
it's just shitting out a bunch of crystal rods to put them back into the ecosystem for more people to find.
That's right.
Circle of life.
That's right. But yeah, we're allowed to get out, and then we can go park right next to the Mysidian Tower and go in the tower, which, Carl, I remember you said that you had a cottage, so I think let's use that cottage before we go into the tower, and then maybe, tomorrow morning after the break when we're all MP'd and HP'd up, we can go into the tower.
Yeah, come on in, guys. Make yourself at home.
Mysidian Tower. This tower real big. Most floors of any
tower.
dungeon that we've been to yet.
Yeah, and before we get into the dungeon, it's it's
true.
just on a little island that's a couple tiles wide that we can walk around on, but it plays a really cool little cutscene on both versions. There's a lot of like glowing lens flare light in the Pixel remaster, like J.J. Abrams style, and then like a huge Kamehameha wave shoots up from the tower into the sky. And on the Pixel remaster, it looks more like Piccolo's special. I forget, special beam cannon. I think is what it's called. That he shoots up. That's what it's shooting out. But,
Damn, it does look like special beam cannon though.
Yeah, it's pretty
not
sick.
lying.
Oh, look at that worm.
He's up there fighting Garlic Jr. We have to go save him.
We're gonna climb up Korin's tower, perhaps get some sensu beans,
That's right.
and we can fight the Saiyans.
So what's the deal with this tower?
Oh, the deal with this tower is that Ultima is on top, and it's like 10 floors, I think.
I believe so. There's the ground floor, and then ground floor,
9 of
and
which
9 floors above that. Yes,
9 of which have pretty tough enemies in them.
Yeah.
And several bosses. We're gonna be bossed up for this.
We got
tower.
ourselves a little bit of a boss rush.
Indeed, we do. And I will say, like, thank goodness that the floors are not very large, because like the way that you like run out of resources or like shit just beat you down in this game if you can't keep up. I was like 10 floors. Oh, this is gonna be such a goddamn slog. But like, luckily the floors are pretty small.
Yeah, pretty much the only one that's kind of a pain in the ass is like the first one. It's a bit of like a labyrinth, and there's a couple of treasure chests there, and just kind of one critical path where I think there's also one of those secret rooms, which pretty much every room to my knowledge in this tower is one of those like trap rooms, aside from like the final floor to make our way to the very top.
Yeah, there's a ton of those for sure.
But the loot that we can get on the ground floor, there's one behind a hidden wall that we kind of have to walk through.
Yeah.
And that is the white robe, which is like one of the best items that you can get for a caster. It greatly increases, I believe, your spirit or intelligence, whichever one is the one for white mage.
I believe it's spirit.
Yeah, I think so. And I just immediately put that on Maria, and we'll probably always wear that.
Yeah, it's great. I put it on Furion immediately and was just like, let's go. It has good defense too. It's like good defense. It increases your spirit. It's a good piece of equipment. It also doesn't have the evasion and not accuracy. What's the word I'm looking for? What make you go fast?
Agility.
Thank you. It doesn't have the what's the other word I'm looking for?
Penalty.
The opposite of benefit.
The penalty.
Penalty. Thank you. There we go. It doesn't have the penalty to your agility that comes with many armors.
So it doesn't have the best defense, but usually your white mage is probably going to be in the back row anyway, so you don't really need defense for that.
It's true. Well, actually, I guess my white mage has been up front the whole time because I have it as Furion because he starts with just a shit ton of spirit.
Yeah, and he has extremely high magic defense, though.
Yeah. So yeah,
but the gimmick of this tower is that I guess every few floors changes like the theme, right?
Yes, the element of the floor changes. So we start with.
It reminds me a little bit of like the chaos when we go through like the final chaos castle or whatever. When we go in, like the fiends will have their own like themes of the dungeon or whatever.
Yeah. So the first area is the fire area.
Yeah, first is fire.
Yeah,
which starts on 2 and
1, 2, and 3. You'd say.
Yeah.
Which there is like lava in the tower, so you have to like walk through some lava.
I think it doesn't just drip downstairs.
I was gonna say it's like it's quite amazing that they can put that on a higher floor and not have like damage to the structure of the building. A theme that will come back in FF5 as well. Oh my god!
Feats of engineering.
Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
I have some pretty hilarious screenshots here on the NES where the first enemy that I encountered here are the ghost type enemies, which are like the cool skeleton guys with swords. They're like the toughest ones that we've found so far, and these guys actually like can really fuck you up. They can cast mini on your guys. Yep. So I just have a screenshot of I think I encountered 4 of them, and everyone in my party except for Maria, because she's wearing the twisted headband or the twist headband, is minied and like cursed and everything. So it's just Maria using flame on one of these guys until they dissolve, and then her running forward and all of the little mini guys trailing behind her. I was thinking about it too. I'm like, if you get mini in a speed run, that just probably loses time, not even because you have to heal it or something, but because it takes the small guys longer to make it off of the screen at the end of the battle, which is really a cute detail. It's very
I was
nice.
going to ask because in your victory thing, you can see that Maria's closer to the edge of the the left side of the screen. I was like, how is that happening? That's
really
very cute.
It's really good.
A rare encounter, I think, at least on the first few floors, are like vampire girls, which I think are really cute in their design.
There are the vampire girls.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of which song I can make a reference to. I'm thinking of
I was trying to like think of maybe Vampire Freaks or whatever.
What is it? West End Girls?
I don't know.
Girls. I was also going to say they make the rockin' world go round. Yeah, I think West End Girls.
I got
the other
nothing.
one I was thinking.
They're unforgettable.
Yeah, in
West
in
End
Vampire
Girls
Town, a dead end
unforgettable.
world, the East End boys and vampire girls. Anyway,
You know what? I'll take it. Good job. Yeah, so we can continue up the tower. After
there is a cool little room where there's like a door that teleports us. Like, so on the second floor, it's like just filled with like, I don't know, boiling water or something because it deals damage to us, if I remember correctly.
That's what I was thinking was lava, but yeah, probably just boiling
like
water.
lava
Yeah.
But you go into one of the doors here and it just pops you up onto the same floor, but like a place that we wouldn't be able to access otherwise.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's strange. But.
On the third floor, so you also get elemental themed weaponry and armor as we go up as well. So like floor 2 has the flame bow, the flame lance, flame shield, etc., etc. Floor 3 has the flame sword, which immediately is better than the Gaia sword. It just like, we got it like 5 minutes ago and now it's already better, and we're gonna do it again in just a second, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, I was looking at a guide and just looking at like the critical path through it, and I saw like there's like from A to X is the treasure chest guide here. So like there's a bunch of shit you can get here, and it's all like flame themed or whatever element themed. And I was like, I already got the flame bow. I already got some of these flame weapons. I'm not going to keep going. I was like, I'm not going to go for them. I don't have the inventory space for that. I don't care. So I just like skipped past it and only got like the things that are mimics that have like monsters in them.
Sure.
Dang mimics.
Yeah, and
But I
honestly,
should
like,
probably go back and get those because those weapons actually sound like they're worth it.
they're pretty great. Although you should have one of them, I think.
I think I had like the flame sword at one point, and I was like, eh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so you can get the flame sword there, which is funny though because like the boss of the third floor, the fire Gygus.
Yeah.
You actually don't want to use the flame sword on him, but as soon as he's done, then you can equip the flame sword.
Yeah, then it's really useful. It's cool too because you can keep like different swords in different pockets and stuff, and switch out. So it's like, oh, I'm fighting this like Hill Gigas. I can or this fire Gigas. I can use a different weapon.
That's actually probably what I should do. I need to set that up when I play.
Yeah,
the game
more
next.
setup on the NES version. It's much easier on the Pixel Remaster because you just have an endless inventory and can do anything. You don't have to. You're not limited to only 2 things for each battle.
Yeah, right. Also, interestingly, the Gygus enemies, like there's multiple. Obviously, there's the fire Gygus, the ice Gygus, etc. They also have a chance of dropping extra of these weapons as well. So it is possible to walk away with 2. Interestingly,
nice. A cool difference between versions. In the NES one, you kind of just come into this room where there's like a little mage standing there, and you talk to him, and he says, "Well done." And then it says, "The mage began to grow," and then you're kicked into the battle with the Gigas. In the Pixel Remaster, there's actually like a little bit of like an animation where like you see him turn into a Hill Gigas sprite just on the overworld, like towering over you, which is really good. Yeah.
On the 4th floor, everything becomes ice now. So we're no longer in the fire area. We've now have 3 floors of ice. The devil blooms start to appear here.
Yep.
Yeah. Which are kind of like halfway between the like plants we fought earlier and a Marlboro, I guess.
Yeah. They can confuse you if they hit you. And,
it's so rough.
Yeah. Or they might even be able to confuse the whole party. I feel like I was very regularly pretty. It might have just been that I was fighting multiple ones, but this is pretty rough.
Yeah, it's not easy. These guys can be a little bit of a pain in the butt.
They can also come in a like really fucked up configuration of like the harder undead enemies that we've fought in other areas, as well as chimeras. So like I'm looking at one now where it's like in the far back row, so I can only cast to attack it is the devil flower, and then 2 chimeras and like 2 of the like really tough zombies and specter. Like not the high level ones, not the ghost ones that I was talking about earlier, but like a step below that. So I was like, luckily Maria had leveled up fire a little more and could one-shot a lot of those, but I was
good.
Oh my god.
I was going to say, even at my point, I'm not able to one-shot them because they have over 1,000 HP. So
it's like 2 dungeons ago, the color palette of the enemies that I was fighting against in this particular iteration, I was like terrified of seeing them at all. And now it's like, oh, and they have something even worse with them.
But yeah, so we can get more ice armor, the ice gloves, etc. The ice brand is on the 5th floor. So if you'll remember 2 floors ago, we got the flame sword, which has, I think, 62 attack. And then the ice brand just immediately has like 74 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just immediately nuts. Better. So 72 attack. So yeah, we just get a 10 attack increase for our sword users in 2 floors, which I think is especially funny. But we continue along. There are a couple like these floors have some backtracking that you can do. There will be like multiple ways up from floor 5 to 6, so you can kind of go up and get some items, come back down, and go up the correct way. So there's a little bit of back and forth, but like I said, the areas are so small that it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another Marlboro variant that can pop up on the 6th floor.
Yeah, they're like the white color palette ones, right?
I think so. Yeah, kind of purple and white.
Yeah.
Which would be the strongest ones in Zelda.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, the Marlboro Terra.
Yes. Terrible.
Interesting.
Also known Land Mulb, depending on the version you're playing.
I saw a familiar friend. What was the name of the fucking dude that we had to fight? The little devil guy who was like real wide. Is it like Gatos or something?
Gatos, yeah.
Yeah, I ran into an encounter where it was a Devil Bloom and 2 Gatos, and I was like, "Fuck this, dude! Oh my god!" I'm looking at my screenshot of it. I'm looking at my screenshot of it, and I have like full party, and then it's just Maria and Guy against the Gatos, like the last one that I have, and then it's just Maria versus him, and I somehow managed to like get away by killing Gatos. Like it was very, very scary. Oh, and then my next screenshot is just a party wipe with a devil flower.
Speaking of
there was a monster in a box. Was the Gatos?
Yeah,
one.
I was going to say it's a monster in a box that is protecting the Flare Tome.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is the most powerful black magic aside from the one that we're gonna be getting.
Oh, or is it? Ooh.
Or is it? And the answer is yes, because we'll get to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is around where I was starting to really struggle because I didn't realize how low Maria's MP had gotten, and I had not taken advantage of easier fights. And like I said, Cure 13, I'm dumping a lot of 13 MP into like probably doing like 100 MP to get Guy all the way topped off and everything, and just was really struggling for it. And then every fucking encounter I found was undead, so I couldn't use Osmos because it would just fully drain me. So I think at one point I got to being like, okay, I have 4 MP and casting Osmos costs 3, so I need to really make this work. And luckily I went for one of the items that I wanted to get that's protected by an enemy called the White Dragon.
Oh yeah, so the White Dragon I did
refill my MP off of that, and it was extremely dicey, but I was definitely doing the save scum Curtis strats of being like, I hope this is a better encounter this time, because I do not feel like warping all the way out and going through all this again.
Now, you know, it's funny. The thing that I did want to say when we very, very first started the episode today, when I was like, oh, I want to talk about the equipment that we get and like how I feel about FF2 now, I actually feel like this is the first time in the game that I've been like ultra powerful, just smacking through enemies, being like, fuck you people, haha, I'm ridiculous. But I think it may have to do with my agility and evasion at this point, like not taking as much damage, and those like really good spells, right? But this is actually the first place in the game where I was like, oh, I could just stay up here forever. I'll be fine. Like I'm just gonna take 8 people encounters, fuck it. Although occasionally an enemy would just be like, that's hilarious, what if you were all confused right now? And I go,
what if everyone was confused or turned to stone and you you don't have any gold needles that you can use in battle, and you don't have Asuna. Yeah,
I'd be like, oh well, I guess I'm starting over. But the White Dragon that you're talking about that you can find here, I did fight this guy, I lost, and then I went back with the blood sword and just said, 1, 2, get out of here. Like, you're done.
Yep.
So yeah, the blood sword kind of OP, like ridiculous. For sure. Love that weapon. But we just fought the White Dragon. Well, I would say we're on like floor 9.
Yeah, that's where the White Dragon is.
Indeed.
This place is lousy with boxes, and yeah, well, floor 9 is where an event takes place.
Yeah,
we're about at the top.
Yeah, and in order to get there, we had to, like, on the 8th floor, you get to 4 rooms, and one of them is the entrance. And I will say, the good folks...
actually, we kind of skipped what the 8th floor is like, because it is like a little maze.
Yeah.
Right, like when you enter.
I think you're thinking are you thinking the 7th floor where there's like 3 rooms off to the side on different corridors and then 3 on the right as well, and
it's the
only
one where
of those doors leads forward.
I think it's the one where we find Flare.
Yeah, that's the 7th floor.
Floor 8.
And yeah.
Depending on where you're looking online, the numbering of the floors.
Oh yeah, I guess it's the 8th floor.
Gotcha.
If you don't count the ground floor.
Some sites count the ground floor
Your
as floor
8th,
1.
my 7th, right?
I see. Yeah. I was thinking of floor 1 as the ground floor is floor 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes complete sense. Yes.
I see.
I'm actually thinking of the ground floor as basement 2, so I'm seeing this as the 5th floor.
Like the 6th, yeah.
So I think in the Pixel Remaster it would be 8th floor.
Yeah,
where there are looks like branches with a bunch of monster rooms, and then one of them is the real way up.
Yes, yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to go there, so it's a little bit of a maze. And I did not go to every one of them. I looked online and said which one is the right one.
at the fine folks over at sabay-web/FFG/maps.
Okay, you're looking at the same app as I am. I was like, oh yeah, their numbers are off.
I will say though, I really want to thank them for all their wonderful work. However, there is an error on their version of the 8th floor, which is of course the 9th floor, where a bunch of the loot is actually like mislabeled and stuff. So I got a bunch of trash that I wasn't actually trying to get in my limited inventory space, and I'm like, no, I want the Hermes shoes. And then I remembered, like, oh, it's like a consumable item that will raise haste. It's not like a passive haste on your character all the time, so I probably won't even use it. Although I did learn that items like that, and I think this happened to me with the unicorn horn, the Hermes shoes only has a 10% chance of being consumed when you use it in battle.
Yes.
So you can just kind of get free haste over and over again.
Except for that one time.
And then you still got your money's worth, which was these are free.
But after we fight the white dragon, and we go up to the top floor, we do get a little scene, right?
Yeah.
And it's our boy. Our boy's back. The boy's back in town.
Our old friend who helped us level up MP so early on in the game. It's Minwoo. Minwoo's last stand, dude.
How did he get in here? Again,
that's a very good question, because if he had a crystal rod,
how do you swim here?
He's got warp and teleport leveled up pretty high. He probably got swallowed by
you're right.
The Leviathan and just warped out. Or he just warped right in here. Who knows?
It's true. All right, fair enough. I'll accept that. But yes, he says, you've come at last. The seal on this door is extremely strong, which, by the way, he is standing in front of a sealed door. It's an important piece of the environment to understand for that.
It's pretty much just a door, that's it.
The seal on this door is extremely strong. I'll give it all I've got. Stand back. And then he gives it the special beam cannon as well. Everybody in this world can just use Piccolo's
Everyone has
specials.
nothing but respect for Mr. Piccolo.
That's right. And he uses it on the door and breaks the seal, and then he dies.
Promptly dies.
That shit makes you so tired. That you die.
Another important thing to note is that in the Pixel Remaster, more shade cast at Piccolo. It is not the special beam cannon. It is, in fact, a Kamehameha wave. But that's fine. Pixel Remaster is still the way to play it, aside from that.
Okay, that's almost enough to make me not want to play
almost enough
Remaster.
To dissuade me from recommending it to everyone.
That's right. But yeah, he says, after he uses the whatever attack that he uses, Maria says, Minwoo, and he goes, go through the door. This was my destiny. And then he's just dead as shit, and it starts playing the sad music.
He says a little bit more in Pixel Remaster. He says, go through the door. You must take Ultima. Do not grieve. This was my destiny. And then he dies.
He just like me after a day at work. I really do feel that way. I'm just like, I'm done.
Yep, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Time to clock out.
Yeah.
Time to clock out. He punches out.
Did the one thing.
And inside, there are 5 mystical orbs. What is the importance of 5 mystical orbs? It is unknown. Because you just talk to the middle one, and it says... No?
Oh, you can actually... Oh, Curtis, I did this on the NES
did I miss something?
As well. Yes, you did.
Oh, no.
Because in the Pixel Remaster, the first one I went to is the Ultima one, and it gives you the Ultima Tome, and you're like, sick, that's great. And then there's a teleport thing behind it, but you can see there's other orbs in the room on their own pedestals.
Oh, I missed dialogue?
Those. Oh, you missed more than dialogue, my friend.
No!
I did the same thing, but luckily I had just taken I watched Minwoo die on NES like 5 times because I just kept going through like with different reasons or whatever. I wanted to get like different stats information. So I just watched him die like multiple times just to get a little more information. But yeah, in the NES version, if you get the Ultimate Tome, it just fully teleports you out, which is a nice quality of life thing. You don't have to walk back down the tower. However, if you talk to the other ones surrounding it first, you get dialogue that says, the crystal responds, I bestow power upon thee, strength increased. And then the other one, agility increased, intellect increased, spirit increased. So you just get free stat upgrades.
What?
Yep.
I guess I'm climbing the tower again.
Mm-hmm.
Going back. What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Listen, look. It doesn't say that in guides.gamecorner.net/ff2/walkthrough. So
That's why you got to go to Sabay. That's why you got to go to sabay.web.
I guess so.
RPG site has do not they'll talk about hey, there's missable enemies here if you're filling out your bestiary. Just note.
Which I would have really liked to have known during my playthrough of Pixel Remaster because I'm missing 2 goddamn enemies that are no longer accessible in that file. So I just have 1 trophy missing.
But we get the tome.
Yeah, we get the Ultima tome.
Indeed. And let me ask you all, is that where we want to leave it for today and then save the special surprise for the beginning next time? Or should we talk about it now?
We can leave it there, but I do want to talk about some optional stuff maybe that we could have missed again.
Yeah, and I would also like to take this time to talk about Ultima and how that works. If you want. I also just sent you guys... See, here's the weird thing.
Your before and after stats?
Yeah. These are my before and after, and they're exactly the same.
Is it just for Furion or something?
It might be just for Furion in the NES version. I will do some research and kind of see. But yeah, so I did that the first time I watched Minwoo die, I immediately went to Ultima and got teleported out and I was like, oh shit. And then the second time I did it, I started leveling up and then I was like, wait, I should do a before and after thing. So I refreshed again.
I do think it's funny you just sent us 2 identical screenshots.
Yeah, I know, but that's the before and after. It's separate times. I was wondering, but yeah.
According to the fandom website, it says, when examined, the 4 blue crystals give an increase of a specific stat to a random party member, including Rickard.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks. Spoiler, Rickard's not going to always be our party member. He's like every other 4th party member that we've had.
Yeah, imagine he gets all 4 of them.
The last of the Dragoons might not be here in our party forever.
Interesting. In the Pixel Remaster, the stat gain is applied to all characters.
Based.
Nice.
It's based. Okay, so I don't hate that necessarily, but I mean at that point, Curtis, it might not even be worth going back up the tower.
No. Here's how I see it. If it's random, then it's controlled by RNG, which means I'll just go up to the crystal, save state, and then talk to it. And if it's not who I want, I'll just press up once and then talk to it again. Yeah. Until I get the stat that I want.
I have bestowed intelligence upon one of you. Here you go, guy.
Yeah.
Now we can have less.
Now you can talk to humans too.
But let's talk about Ultima though.
So the middle crystal will say, the crystal responds, I bestow upon thee the ultimate magic, and then we receive the ultimate tome. Finally, I think I might try and sell it and see how that goes, because Ultima works very interestingly.
You can get 1 gil apparently.
Oh, really? Well, I will be doing that because it's funny. So obviously there's a lot of lore significance to Ultima. It is the first instance of Ultima, right, in the series, which has become a staple, a very important staple. Everyone knows Ultima if they've played Final Fantasy. In this game, the way that it is supposed to work is it is supposed to be a culmination of all your hard work throughout the game. I don't know the specific math of it all, but your proficiency, if you have your proficiency in different skills leveled up a lot, that will factor into how powerful Ultima is. And if you are using it with a caster, however many levels of magic that you have, if you have things maxed out at 16, it's supposed to increase that. So it doesn't really factor in your intelligence or anything like that. It's all just adding up your proficiencies and how much you've mastered each spell, and it makes it more powerful. But the problem is, on the NES version, there's a bug and it just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work.
You
even
can
if you get it up
max
to level
500 HP with it, even if you max everything out.
Yep. So
it does work in the Pixel
good.
Remaster, but by the time I figured that out, I was like, it's not worth going through.
But Ultima is just an attack you can use, right?
Yeah, it's just another elemental attack, yeah.
Neat, like Flare.
Yep. Yeah, it's like Flare or Holy.
Which Flare being way stronger than Ultima in this game.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to be leveling up Flare. I got Holy going, and the most powerful magic in the whole game, Toad.
There you go.
And Osmos.
So yeah, and then that 500, by the way, is on a single target. So if you spread it out amongst enemies, it does much less. So like for me, Drain is doing like twice Ultima at a max level. Yeah.
Yeah, so good to keep in mind for like a future playthrough of Pixel Remaster for me. I might try and actually make Ultima worth a shit, but there's so many things that you can do in this game, and leveling up anything takes so long that it's like, is it really even worth it? Like, probably not.
Yeah, it really does take forever in this game.
It's like, cool. I like the idea of it, but in execution, it's just really not good.
In the Pixel Remaster, there's an achievement for getting a single magic or a single weapon to level 16. And those were both the final achievements that I got in it, and took several hours longer than doing everything else. So I got all the enemies, beat all the game, did everything, and then was like, okay, what's my highest weapon? Level 8? Oh god.
Yep,
I was gonna take forever.
I was in like the final room before the final boss, just walking around and farming enemies there to get one of my weapon proficiencies up to 16. And that took a while of me just like watching TV and putting it on auto battle.
Yep, it's like that. But yeah, I think there is there's big changes a coming to the world of Final Fantasy II. So I think we'll leave those as a surprise, a little surprise for next time. And go ahead and end it here. Does that sound good to y'all?
Sounds good to me.
I might mention one thing, though.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Remember, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, when we got Gordon, if we immediately take Gordon back to Hilda.
Well, hold on, wait.
Like
Before you continue. Are you talking about Excalibur?
No.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
This is just missable dialogue again.
Okay, because I was going to say, if we take Rickard somewhere later, we get extra stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
But so there's actually a little window, because if we go back to Finn now, things will be kind of too hectic for this encounter to have happened. But if you get Rickard and immediately go to Altair, you can basically introduce him to Hilda and Gordon. It's pretty nice.
You mean Finn at this point?
Yeah.
Since everyone
if you go to Finn.
Hermit crabbed into Finn from Altair.
Exactly.
I also want to say that Rickard has a really cool pixel portrait on the NES version.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Looking great. Also, the gil that I have is wild, because I have 333,303 gil. So I'm like 1-3 off of being all threes.
That's sick. Okay.
But yeah, if you bring Rickard up back to Castle Finn before going to the Mystidia Tower, Hilda will be like, "Oh, you were swallowed by the mythical beast Leviathan? Thank heavens you're safe."
And then Rickard, of course, replies, "Ome ni kakarete hikari hodes." Oh, wait, I'm reading the wrong one. Sorry. Go ahead.
But it's like, yeah, she's like, "We've already lost Scott and Joseph. We were able to lose you too. I don't know what we do. And I can't help but wonder what's happened to Minwu." Just like kind of hint, nudge, nudge. But you can ask her about things like, if you say wyverns, she'll suggest, like, have you tried summoning the wyvern in the mirror chamber?
Mm-hmm.
No, of course not. It's still just an egg after all. So if you show the pendant to the mirror, it'll show a picture of just the egg, just like chilling.
Yeah, which is the thing I did do in the Pixel Remaster. I don't think while I had Rickard, but I did see it, and it just says like the egg is resting peacefully at the bottom of the lake or the spring or whatever.
And then if you ask her about dragoons, she says, "Are you a dragoon, sir?" And he says, "I am Rickard Highwind, a dragoon of dice." So I didn't know his last name was Highwind.
Yep, the first Highwind dragoon.
It is an honor to meet you, your highness. I set out to retrieve the ultimate tome from Mysidia before Emperor's attack on Diced. I met Fury and his companions while on that journey. When I learned that we shared the same goal, I joined them, and have traveled at their side since.
Yep, that's nice. I like that.
And Gordon's like, "A dragoon yet lives. Let us fight together and rid the world of the Emperor."
Hell yeah.
Oh, and
I like that Layla's there.
Yeah,
right?
Layla's there. Yeah, yeah.
She's like, I mean, which would be very funny right after we got the Leviathan. She's like, "Hey, I'm fine."
Yeah. She says, "When the storm kicked up and the ship went down, I got separated from ye. I thought you were dead for sure. It's good to be wrong now and again."
Just seeing her dialogue, like, that is like a completely normal sentence, and they're like, "Oh, right, she's a pirate, so we got to tack a ye on the end of it."
Right.
It just reminds me of in Futurama when Fry thinks he's a robot, and he just like starts talking, and he keeps saying ye, and they're like, "Robots don't say ye." And they're like, "Fry, you're a human, not a robot." And he's like, "I'll show ye."
if you actually take Rickard, I don't know if you could take Rickard to Castle Deist to introduce him to the other Deistians.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really nice, because the mother there says, Rickard, you're alive. I'm like, Elena, where is Philip and the others? Have they really all been killed? They have. After you left, we lost the Wyverns. Then it was only a matter of time. Elena, I want you to be strong. I'm here, and when the fighting is over, I'll come back. You and Kane look after Deist for me until then.
Oh, the little kid's name is Kane? What?
Yeah, dude, so good.
And then, the kid is like, are you really a dragoon? Like, I am, the last dragoon. Your father was a good friend. I plan to get revenge enough for him and everyone else. Once the Emperor's dead, I'll be back. And once I am, I'll raise you. I'll raise you to be a fine dragoon.
A Kane Highwind, possibly? The dragoon?
Perhaps a Kane Highwind?
Oh my god.
I will raise you to not be a fucking incel nice guy who would never betray his friends.
Like 3 times in one video game.
I feel like this must be some like pixel remaster, like Easter egg localizations. Because
It could be.
I wonder.
I have to, I guess you have to probably play like the.
Well, you know what? If you give me
play the NES.
If you give me like 5 minutes.
If Rickard is still alive in your file.
He is. I still have Rickard. I turned my Steam Deck off, but I'm going to turn it on right now. Cut out the next 5 minutes in the podcast and we'll find out.
But I thought those were 2 very good scenes that are very, again, missable because we only have these characters are only in our party for such a short time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I think it's cool that there's so much of that. And like in the Pixel remaster, I think it's definitely a thing that is worth exploring. But in the NES one, I'd be interested to see if it happens because any kind of traveling in the NES, especially now where, a big spoiler, it's not just easy to wander around as much. Because another thing I wanted to see is if his sprite from within the Leviathan looks the same as it does when he's in your party. Because it looks a lot different.
Overworld sprite?
Yeah, the little overworld sprite when he joined our party is like all white, which in the Pixel remastered, all of his armor is black. And when I think of dragoons, I think more of, like a dark blue or like a darker color and not white. So I had to kill everyone in my party and have Rickard be the only one still alive. And I was like, I'll just go back to Altair where the enemies are easy to fight. And without getting too into it for the next episode, this is where a shift in the enemies on the overworld happens, and now they're all a class above, and they're much harder. So it took a while to actually get...
That was the special thing I was saving for next time.
Oh, I thought you were... I mean, we can cut that out as well.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm kidding.
We were alluding to it earlier with the mental pin.
Yeah, and those enemies.
We
get into more detail with it next time.
I mean, there's a lot more to talk about in regard to the overworld next week. I thought you were referring to that.
All right. I'm heading toward Altair right now. I got into one fight and it took like fucking 3 minutes because fuck this game. Oh my god, it's another encounter with 8 people. Jesus.
Yep.
Okay,
that's what
both
was
of my
happening to me,
characters have hold on right now.
I can report that it's the same sprite.
Okay, I got game over.
Game over?
Yeah.
We'll report next week.
We'll report next week.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
I think Deist is unaware of all the happenings in Finn, so I think you can go there after.
Okay.
So it'll still be relevant next week while Rickard is in our party.
All right, sounds good. We'll find out then. But in the meantime, do y'all have anything to announce? Anything going on?
What you been playing, Carl?
I've been playing some ROM hacks. Been playing some Dark Souls again. Much better at it now than I was the last time I played it, so that's cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've been playing some stuff and putting it up on YouTube, so guess you can follow me there. It's at Carl Germ Plays because someone has just Carl Germ. That is not me. I do not endorse that channel.
Fucked up. I
think their name is also Carl Germ, so it's not even like they stole my name. It's
no. Still fucked up. Not allowed.
Take it up with their parents.
I think I've accidentally
rules.
sent authentication stuff to like Carl Germ at an email or something that's like fully not mine and just is theirs. And I was like, whoops, sorry about that, other Carl Germ.
Let's see. I am still going to be playing the BitGen Festival on August 5th. So come hang out in Baltimore if you are around. And I believe we have a show coming up in October, which is a while away, but God knows how these seasons go and like when I'll announce it. But I believe October 8th at the Auto Bar. No, not Auto Bar. What's whatever. More details. It's in Philadelphia. If you're in Philadelphia,
or Leaves?
October. Or it Leaves. That's the one. Boom. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be coming up.
Or Leaves rules.
Do I have anything else going on? I'm speedrunning Curse Crackers a lot again. That's fun. Come hang out on my Twitch TV/TwirlingCurtis, and check that game out. It owns. It's got a good soundtrack. Alex is holding the cat Doom again, who I don't think has made an appearance this season. Is this the first Doom appearance?
This might be the first appearance
Maybe.
of Doom. Oh, looking so sweet.
Look at Doom. What a look.
Headbutting the microphone. I hope that audio stays in. It's very cute.
Good boy.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, nothing over here.
Yeah. So
end of July, I'll be going to band camp, which is just, instead of touring, we're just going to spend a week at a house making music.
Nice.
Which is way more cost effective.
Oh yeah.
To practice our shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Playing music is fun. So
love it. Love to do it.
Big recommend. All right. Well, Alex, would you like to devour us? And because one of us has a crystal rod and we must not be allowed entry into the Mysidian Tower.
Yeah, I can do that.
That was the best I had today. I'm sorry.
This game isn't very dialogue dense.
No.
I was thinking back to like the green room before we were recording where Curtis was talking about Wendy's chili and the translucent goo hot sauce that you can put on it. And I was like, damn, we could have tied that into the Leviathan. Yeah, that's what you walk through and it hurts you.
I assumed that was going in the podcast and wasn't even it wasn't even green room dialogue.
I don't even know.
I suppose we'll see.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of Every FNFF. Thank you to Night of the Round for the theme music, ending music. Thank you to Nobuo Uematsu for the game music. Thank you to the Gooch for the game. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe to us wherever you're listening to us. You can call or text us at 530-MATERIA. We do read all of them.
Yeah, we've gotten some recently, by the way, and we have read them. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the support.
I just always forget about them until it's too late.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I told Hebs like last month, I was like, oh yeah, we'll definitely play yours on air, and then each time we've recorded since, I've been like, fuck, so we'll get you soon, Hebs. We'll do it soon.
You can find us at Every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Hop on our Discord. You can follow along with the scripts for a lot of these now on everyfnff.info, our wiki, which I have been piecing together the ancient texts. And this would never have happened to us if it weren't for the old man and his stupid podcast.
Goodbye.
10 years.
10 more years.
Oh, no. I don't want to be 10 more years in the Leviathan.